Today, we're going to be talking about the MCDC convention that I just got back from last night. Took me a while to drive home because I was tired of driving, and so I kept stopping. And turns out that just prolongs the inevitability of needing to drive again. So there we are. But anyways, got back last night. Fantastic event up in the Northern Virginia area, right around DC, hence the name MCDC, Marvel Champions in the DC area. Really fun. So we're going to be walking through kind of that experience, talking about it, discussing the different events, some of the different custom content that they made, showcase some of the alt art stuff that was handed out, and then dive into my thoughts around player versus player, because I did get to play, I want to say 6 to 7 PvP games. And so I have thoughts. Turns out I liked it a lot more than I thought I would, which is surprising because I really did not think it was going to be for me. So we're going to be talking about that. And then we're going to get in at least a game with Hulkling, potentially more, depending on our time. But yeah. What's up, Epic Beowulf? Hope you're doing well. Doing fantastic. So excited to be here. Happy to have you. How many games did I play? Ooh, that's a good question. I should have thought about that. Or written them down. I think I probably played. My guess would be upwards of 20 plus would be my guess, and I played a 3-player game, a 1v1 head-to-head, but then after that, all of them were 4-player games. So they were decently large games. Yeah. So close to me. I need to make time for that next year if they do it. I know that they are planning to do it again next year, and yeah, that's about all I know. But I do think that they are looking at figuring out ways to expand and have more space for next year. So I'm hoping. I mean, it was at least 7. Yeah, seven PvP games. Yeah, so I probably played more than 20 now that I'm thinking about it, because we would get up, people would play in the hotel lobby before the Haraz Hobbies, which is the game store which it was held, was even open. They were playing like alongside breakfast and everything. We'd go over there. Haraz opened at about 10 a.m. and then we would play games until they closed later that evening, and then people would head back over to the hotel and play more games. And so it was just nonstop Marvel Champions. There were a couple other games being played here and there. Saw a couple of games of Star Wars Deck Builder being played. I played a game of Skulls of Cell Deck, which is just a really fun little pocket game from Button Shy Games. So there were a couple other games being played, but the majority of everything was Marvel Champions. It was good stuff. Did I see many Tigers and Hulklings? Less than I thought I would. I did see a decent bit, but I think like the first Con of Heroes that I ever went to, it was right when Nova and Ironheart, they came out together. Nova and Ironheart had just released, and those were all over the place. I did see a lot of them being played. I saw more Hulkling than Tigra being played. And yeah, they're fun. They're really fun to watch played. I played a lot of Hulkling. I played 2 games of Tigra. I built a PvP deck with Tigra, which I played one time, but it turns out it was just a really fun multiplayer deck as well. We'll talk about that one here as the stream goes on as well. But my second game I ever played with Tigra was a 4-player game where I built a PvP deck, and it worked. I think it worked better in multiplayer or like cooperative play than it actually did in the PvP. Need one of those cons to start a southern branch that I have a chance of attending. Yeah, do it yourself. Do it. If the time works out, I'll come. What's up, Mark? How's it going? Had a blast. It was so much fun. The noon start is nice for me. Nice. Okay, good. Yeah. I like it now because it's like I push the streams back to like it's 1 p.m. my time, noon central time. But yeah, I push it back because now I actually get stuff done in the morning. Like I finished up one of my videos for my other company this morning, And when I start at 10 a.m. my time, it's just like an awkward amount of time where I don't actually feel like I have ever been productive during that time. And so I'm just trying out a new time slot. But I think I'm enjoying it. Right there with you. Florida con win. Ooh. Nice. Nice. Let's talk about the schedule of events. Actually, I want to show this off first. They gave a little name badge. Let's go top down. So they have like a name badge that they gave to everybody that actually looks like one of the cards, and you got to write your name on it. A lot of people had like their tags and everything on it, or like their Discord usernames. But I thought this was a really clever name tag. Con of Heroes has like the "Hello, my name is" type things, but this is fun. I keep all of my con badges on a lamp that I hang them on, and so this one's gonna go onto the style. Do you know if mining dwarf is possible with the core set and dwarf starter? Yes, I think it is. Yes. Uh, how about the custom content? The custom content this year was incredible, and we will talk through what all that looked like, because there was custom content that they made, and like we played through the campaign, which was the first event of the entire session, the first official event, I should say. There's a lot of people playing even on Thursday before the con even started, but there were campaign battles which had custom content, custom modular sets. There was like custom art, full art stuff that was being handed out, which looks amazing. I've got a couple of those that we'll show off after we go through the events. And then custom heroes, and then Sunday was actually just custom content day, so people were bringing different custom villains and heroes to play, and we got to see and like just experience a lot of creativity from the community, which was a lot of fun. But we started with the campaign on Friday, and the campaign on Friday was a lot of fun. And what I did like about this campaign was there was a incentive, not necessarily like a mechanical incentive, but like a environmental incentive to like move around and play with other people. It was encouraged to go play with more people, and so I liked that a lot. It was a 3-game campaign. The first one we could use any villain, and it was like an attack on the embassy, but they strongly recommended Civil War leaders and modular sets. And then there was a Doom Ascension mod set. So if you watch the video that I did a couple of weeks ago where I got to reveal a couple of cards from that modular set with some of the design team, we got to use that mod set in here where Dr. Doom is. I'm going to just pull him up. I am not tech savvy enough to put him on the screen right now, but I will talk through him out, or talk with him. But Dr. Doom is a 2/2 toughness steady villainous minion with 8 health. Now when he's defeated, each player gets to draw 2 cards and each identity heals 2 damage. But when he is defeated, there are ways, the Rise of Doom brings him. Okay, yeah. So at the end of the round, if Dr. Doom is not in play, so once you defeat him, there's a permanent side scheme that says go find him again and attach the God Emperor Doom attachment to him, which gives him a +1 attack. It does have victory, and he gains 5 hit points per player. So now instead of 8 hit points, Dr. Doom is sitting there in a 4-player game with 28 hit points, and it's a problem. And so that was really exciting to kind of play around with. It was intense. It was fun to try and figure out exactly how to deal with him, because it felt very similar to like a Thunderbolt minion where it's like, okay, this is now the main problem. We have to focus on that. And so I enjoyed that. It was nice meeting you at Haraz this weekend. MCDC was a blast. It was great meeting you too. Yeah, so many great people. There was, I think, over 80 people there. I want maybe even 100. It was a full event. It was exciting. And so that campaign, during that game, I played the Wasp Aggression deck, which is the Overkill deck. And that worked out really well with the new Spoiling for a Fight card. Not spoiling. Well, I had that in there too. But Savage Strike card. it gives +6 to a hero's basic attack, and Wasp in giant form can spread out her damage based or spread out her damage of a basic attack to anyone. And so we were able to spread that out, and then I used hand cannon to give her overkill and then follow through, and I was able to clear minions. And if I did 1 extra point of damage once I had my 3 follow throughs out, it was 4 extra points of damage on each instance of minion that I overkilled. And just it was a really fun build. That build has been around for a while, probably since hand cannon was put out in Galaxies, I believe. But the Savage Strike was a blast. It was really fun to do that. Then after we controlled the attack on the embassy, we went into the Amazon encounter where we played against Enchantress. And this one introduced a new mod set that they created. So with Enchantress, from Trickster Takeover, we have the Trickster Magic, or I don't actually quite recall what that... I think it is like Trickster Magic, where you have the really strong minions, but they're linked to their ally version. So once you take them out, you get their ally version. They designed a Fantastic Four version of that mod set. So the Thing would come out, and they are brutal minions. They're harder than the Trickster Magic minions. But once you take them out, then you get the Thing as an ally. And the allies were really cool. I know, like... Oh, I have it right here. I don't know why I'm trying to remember. I'm tired. I'm very tired. So like Invisible Woman has her minion version. She's a 0/1 with 6 hit points. She's villainous. She has victory 1. And it has a forced interrupt. It says when an enemy would take any amount of damage from an attack, spend a physical resource or 2 resources of any type. Otherwise, prevent all damage from that attack. So she is basically throwing up magical barriers in front of all the enemies. However, when you defeat her, the player defeated this minion puts the set-aside Invisible Woman ally into play, which is very similar to the minion version. 3-cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack with 2 consequentials on both and 6 health. And then as an interrupt, when a friendly character would take any amount of damage, deal that damage to Invisible Woman instead. So you're able to kind of block some of that damage going to either allies, or it's like a magic shield from Scarlet Witch where it's just like panic button. I can throw this damage onto Invisible Woman because Enchantress just hit me for like 4. It was crazy. You're a huge F4 and Doom fan. It was a good con for that kind of content. Even got a specialized training set that was rebranded as F4. Was that in all of the custom content stuff, or did I saw people playing with it, which was fun. I didn't get to look through all of the custom content, but that's fun. Hey Spartan, how's it going? One of the other attendees made it. Yeah, and there were so many people that had made content that had brought that content to the con and was handing it out and everything. The ally versions did have victory on them, but when we went into that 3rd game of the campaign, they lost victory, and so we got to start with them. They actually started in the victory display, and there's a side scheme in that modular set that pulls them from the victory display, so you get like another use out of them. And so in game 2, we were actually having a lot of fun trying to figure out how we could, 1, get all of the fantastic minions into play, defeat them, then trigger the side scheme to pull them back to like maximize the effect of that side scheme. So that was a fun little puzzle that we were getting to play. And then the 3rd game was against Hela. That side scheme started in play, then went to the victory display, and Hela just loves side schemes in the victory display. There's also another setup for that where you could go put a player side scheme into play, which was like awesome, sweet. And then Hela's like, excellent, we're gonna get real big. And so the third game was with Hella. It was actually the smoothest Hella game I have ever run. I don't, and this is why I needed to write stuff down. I told myself I would, and then I just did not because I got caught up in everything. But I'm trying to remember who I even played. I think I played Vision. I think I played Vision against Hella. The Sidekick Vision big thwarter deck that we built. That worked out really well. That was a lot of threat removal. But we just blitzed through Hella. It was easy peasy. Our team makeup just clicked. It was just really satisfying because we just kind of came through and we blew through her Highway to Hell side scheme deck. We blew through the second and third stage in one go, took her out. I think we ended up taking her out the next round or something. It was crazy. Drax was a monster. Were you playing Drax in that game, Brent? I know we were playing that game together. Was it? Oh yeah, it was Drax because we started with superpower training, which was your call so that we could get D-Thweet onto Drax immediately. Yes. That was cool. You were handing out a Doom version of Sorcerer Supreme? That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, there were a couple of alt art versions of Sorcerer Supreme that they had printed. I got a Scarlet Witch one, which was awesome because I was playing Scarlet Witch, and so I got to throw that in there. You told Caleb that I recommended Dream Chaser over Return of the King. He was a little hurt. That's fair. The reason I did not in my defense, the reason I didn't recommend Return of the King is I have not played all of Return of the King, so I didn't feel like I could in good faith recommend it. Your LGS did a Civil War event Friday, and you and a friend played Registration, and we won. Congrats! That's awesome. Who were you playing as? Yeah, Skelly, I was having trouble remembering. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. So that was the first thing that we did that was like the main event on Friday. And then the thing that I did, well, I played other games, but Friday was the first time that I tried player versus player. Played with the Winning Hand podcast. And this was before I had built any decks for it specifically. I played a Vision deck, and then I played a Hulkling. I played the Hulkling deck. And we played twice. The first game that we played, the way that it works is Registration REG versus Resistance RE. Yeah, they go in alphabetical order. This is Brandt's trick that he taught me. They go in alphabetical order. So we were playing whichever one went second. And so if you defeat the leader in a round, you finish out that round. The other team still gets a turn because the registration side always goes first. So you finish that out. Then if the other team also defeats the leader, you go through like kind of a series of tiebreakers. We went down to the fourth tiebreaker and we ended up losing because the fourth tiebreaker was total amount of health remaining on heroes. And I think it was like 18-14 or something like that. But it was so close. But after that, I think we kind of decided that if you go to a tiebreaker, you call it a tiebreaker. But nice. Hulkling and Magneto. That's a fun matchup. What is my favorite leader from Civil War? That's a good question. I think so far, I think Captain Marvel poses some interesting challenges. Yeah. Your leader was Captain Marvel. There's the Spider-Woman. Sick. Yeah. Spider-Woman was meaner than I thought she was going to be. Captain Marvel is pretty mean. They're all mean. Iron Man can scheme a lot. It's very scary. But yeah, we did the PvP on Friday. Just kind of some unofficial games. We played one and we're like, want to do that again? And we're like, yeah, we went right into it again. And the then we went back to the hotel, played some more games. And one of the decks that I want to actually walk through and talk about is this Adam Warlock deck that I brought and we built on stream. I modified it a little bit with suggestions from Chris and Brant, but I'm a big fan of this Warlock deck. I was having a blast. So that was my late night deck that I was playing because it's just passing out toys and I was having a good time with that. The ones you've seen the most on YouTube are Iron Man and Captain America. That feels normal, I think, because those are kind of the main faces of the box. I get that from there. We'll try one of the other ones with our Hulkling game today. We were undefeated, even though he died in the first game. Nice. Adam Warlock support deck was super helpful. Sick. Yeah. I think, yeah, Shibi, I changed it. I swapped out Justice for Pool after we played. And yeah, we'll talk about it more. Saturday, we did the Loki event where Brant stepped into the portal, embodied Loki, and we all took on Loki. And I believe we were discussing that this was the largest ever Loki event ever held, because I think Gen Con capped it at 64, and we had over 80 participants fighting against Loki. So I think that is the record right now, is as the largest massive multiplayer Loki event ever to be held. And so that was a lot of fun. I played a Groot big thwarter deck, problem solver type situation. Just bring all the player side schemes, which is a lot of fun with those environments where you can like problem solve, where you exhaust a Guardian and Avenger and remove a threat from every scheme equal to the combined thwart values. And then there was I forgot what the environment is called in Loki. Actually, I think I may have it right here. I don't know if they printed new ones. No, they didn't. The environment where you can remove a counter and do even more thwarts. So we were just blowing stuff up. It was a good time. What's up, Jeff? How you doing? The Loki game was amazing. The Loki game was a ton of fun. Brant brought a lot of fun energy to it. He was antagonizing us as we were, trying to take him down. Groot, my Groot was the first hero to die in the event. That was pretty quick. I was not expecting Loki like double attacked me. I don't even quite remember what happened. And then I got dealt indirect damage with no allies and I just died. Which in the massive multiplayer, you add a threat, or you add counter or a threat to Worlds Collide, which is like the overall main scheme. You set your hit points to 0. And so I wasn't like out, but it was like round 2. I was dead. I was like, oops. But it was fun. I was playing with somebody, and I apologize. I'm not going to remember everybody who was playing everything, but somebody was playing a really cool Nick firepower deck where they were able to trigger firepower multiple times around. They had enough weapons to exhaust multiple weapons every round. And then using the Domineering Force, which is the other environment that added like 4 damage to each iteration of damage. And like they were doing like 40 damage for 2 effective resource. It was so cool to watch. Like people's deck building skills are so impressive. I was there. It was so cool, so dope to meet everyone in the community. I love this community. The community is so kind and so welcoming. It was really cool. Jason had Nick. That was some crazy damage. Oh yeah, he hit. We were playing with Fantasy and hit Dragon for 30, just straight up. Oh, that was really cool. I primarily play solo, so it's really cool seeing combos and cards I don't normally use. 100,000% agree. Just having more people able to play more decks exposes you to more things, which is really fun. But also, there are cards that I just like Regroup, which my Tiger deck now in True Solo is going to be running Regroup, but I very rarely run Regroup in True Solo. It's whenever a ally is defeated by a enemy attack, return that ally to the hand. And 4-player, card's amazing. Fantastic card. And True Solo, it's good, but I probably would run like a rapid response over it. But you get to see a lot of like fun combos that you don't normally get to see just in True Solo. The start to the beginning of that game was to hunt the Magog for turn 2. Sick. Sick. Did you play with Caleb? I did. Okay, so leads me to the next event of Saturday, which was the player versus player tournament. So we did a PvP tournament where you paired up with another partner and ran 2v2 over 3 different rounds. I played with Caleb. So it was me and Caleb were teammates, and so that was a good time. I was running a Scarlet Witch Justice deck. He was running a Winter Soldier Aggression deck. And because we are I don't know. So our team name was the Final Boss. I thought that was really funny. That was somebody else's suggestion as we were contemplating team names, and I thought it was a really clever team name. But that was a good time. So yeah, I got to play with Caleb 2v2. That regroup and it was nuts in the game we played. Yeah. In 4-player, regroup is busted in 4-player. Was he good at PvP? He was really good at PvP. You can tell he's played the game once or twice. He just like had like these like play lines, and you could tell it was kind of like passion project for him, because our leader was Captain America, and we were passing out like all these minions, but he knew the strategies for different leaders that we were facing off against, and the different play lines of how to successfully like not die against Iron Man. And so like he was like helping me understand how we should be playing against different leaders, which was kind of fun and interesting to like hear him talk through that. And like the one time I didn't listen, I was like, the main scheme was at like 2. Iron Man had 1 attachment on him, and so Iron Man schemes for +1 for every attachment he has on him. And Caleb was like, we will lose against Iron Man via scheming. That's how we lose against Iron Man. I was like, I'm going to flip down because I get some extra cards. Scarlet Witch, superpowered siblings. I had Quicksilver, I had Agatha. And so like I was like, I'm going to be able to get some cards here. And he was like, I don't think you should flip down. I was like, the main scheme has like 12 threat. It's going to be fine. We schemed out. we did. So I should have just listened to him there. But yes, it was a good time. Your team name was hilarious. Yeah, it was. I don't recall who came up with it, but I thought it was really funny. Yeah, the Final Boss, and we had every team that we played ended up dropping, not because we beat them. We went 2-1, but just because of other things. People dropped. Yep, we teamed up with Caleb. It was a good time. You and me had played our first PvP game together. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I had a lot played. That first one was, I think I played Vision, the first PvP game. And it just wasn't. I think it needed to be a little bit faster. That was before I had Suit Up in the deck. And I just lucked into a Vivian draw earlier. I was kind of relying on 616 to draw those. The support to recur to get Vivian, but it didn't work in the PvP. It took a while to get it. Now that you have been playing PvP, are you more excited for She-Hulk and Vision? Yes, I am. I think there's a lot of really cool mod sets coming in that pack, which will be a lot of fun. And the new leaders look pretty cool. I played Vision with Boom Guy, not against Boom Guy. I made sure Vision was on his team. Yeah. And then Hulkling in our second game. Yeah. It was a good time. Yeah, PvP, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I was more impressed with PvP than I thought I was going to be. So, that's good news. Sunday, I guess like Saturday. And I want to say that the location was really good for the con because it was kind of in, I wouldn't call it a strip mall, but like it kind of was a strip mall where it was a shared communal building, but that was connected to a lot of different restaurants. A lot of like, there was like a taco place. My favorite place was there was a Jamaican Peruvian fusion place, kind of just in the same parking lot, just walking distance. And then the hotel was walking distance from the con as well. It was like a 10-minute walk, and so that was really lovely to be able to walk just to the hotel. So the location of the con was fantastic. I really enjoyed just how accessible food as well as like our beds were, or like where we were sleeping. Saturday night we played a lot of games, and yeah, Sunday was fun. I'm running behind a jet. I think if they can at least put one scenario pack that makes more leaders, we'll play yeah, it'll keep the PvP fresh. That, yeah. I would not be surprised if we see more as new teams come out. I'll be interested to see how well it's received by the community in terms of like sales. I think that's probably going to dictate if they do more or not. Yeah. That Jamaican restaurant was it was so good. And the people, the restaurant owners and the people working there were just so kind. They were like so happy to have us there. They were like, on, I think it was Saturday night when we were leaving, I ate dinner with, Step Into the Portal crew. And, like, that wasn't the time that they like shook our hands as we like left and stuff. That was the next day we went there for lunch, but like they were just happy to have us. It was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. Ice cream coffee shop across the street. I actually didn't even get to go to that, but I heard really good stuff. But just having access to ice cream, and then even the snack bar at Haraz Hobbies was really convenient. If you didn't want to go out and grab something at one of the other restaurants, they had like pizzas and hot dogs and pretzels and mozzarella sticks and the insane cookies. The cookies were so delicious at that at that shop. I held out until Sunday. And I'm glad I did because I would have spent a silly amount of money on cookies if I had had them earlier in the weekend. And this like M&M one, and I was like, I'm gonna eat half of this and save half of it for later, and it was gone just immediately. It's called a common. Okay, common. I like that. It's that feels better than strip mall. That'll add more tactics and variety. 100% agree. Yeah, dude, the cookies were so good. I will someday fight all the way from Costa Rica to one of these events. It's one of your dreams. I hope so. Yeah. That'd be awesome. They were so polite. My wife and I had bought some of the jerk sauce to bring home. Yeah, for the lunch that we had on Sunday. Yeah, I think it was Sunday. We had jerk chicken and waffles. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Brant was successful in his endeavor to play all borrowed decks. That's fun. Yeah, so I think, Brant showed up and did not bring any decks and just like, I need a deck, and sat down and played with somebody and they handed the deck across. I played with Jeff. I borrowed one deck. I borrowed Jeff's deck, which was another Adam Warlock deck, which was all about Voltroning Wolverine, which was a ton of fun. Who you calling jerk? I'm calling you a jerk. Got him. Woo. But that seemed like it went really well for you, Brant. I'm happy to hear that. Hopefully they will do MCDC at Haraz again next year since it's so close to me. I have a feeling they may outgrow it. That is a thought, and I have no background knowledge of anything that's happening from like the logistics side of things. Um, there was a back room that was like a that had a lot of wargaming tables. There's I don't know if there's a potential to have that next year, but I think they sold out in like 7 days. So I'm hoping that there's either like the same area, because I think the area worked really well. Um, Same area with expanded either at Haraz or a larger space. Larger spaces just cost a lot of money, and that's tough. So I'm hoping that if they can take over the wargaming side, it would be awesome. Yeah, and who knows? Who knows? I know wargamers spend a lot of money on those games, and they like to play. So I don't know if it's easy or not to ask them to not play for a weekend. I don't know, but there were a couple of tables in that room which we were allowed to play champions on. I think like one or two of them. But I really enjoyed the local shop. I think Haraz was a wonderful board game shop, and from both a location, an actual shop, and then the employees were just fantastic. So the only complaint about the shop is that we filled it up, and that's not even really a complaint. So, uh, like in the sense of I wish more people could have attended, and I think that's if you're going to have a complaint, that's the best one you can have. So, really good job scoping out the location for it. I thought it was really well done. We're working with Haraz Hobbies to get the backspace, but then there are some things on their end that they need to figure out. Cool. Yeah. There's PvP games. Did you notice some leaders are more strong than others? They have similar powers. I was actually a little surprised about that. They have, I think, fairly similar powers. I think the strongest one after round one was, I think Spider Woman was 9-3 after round one. I think Spider Woman was one of the better ones at the table. They're so nice and accommodating. Yeah, they opened early for the event as well. They came in and they opened the snack bar early for the event. Haraz was amazing. Haraz was fantastic. It was cramped, but it like after like the first game, I was like, okay, we're cramped, cool, and this is what it is, and we get to experience everyone together. So it was a good time. Would have been more shocked if the wargaming area for not being used for the wargaming folks. Yeah. But yeah. And following the same question about PvP, did you notice heroes that are better at PvP than PvE? That's a good question. I have not thought a lot about that. I don't know if I have an answer off the top of my head. And I think it drastically changes based on true solo versus 2v2. Because I think in true solo, like Hulk wins. Huzzah, not hurrah. Huzzah. Yeah, hurrah. Nice. Sunday was custom content day. Woke up, saw people playing in the hotel lobby, of course, because you have to, right? Custom content day. Boom Guy from Winning Hand had brought a lot of different custom villains. We borrowed one from him and played. Who did we play? We did a Mr. Negative game first, which I had played at Con of Heroes, and then we played the God Butcher. What was his name? Oh, 100%. Yeah, I know you're not being a jerk. Gore. Yes, thank you, Jeff. Gore the God Butcher. So yeah, we did a Mr. Negative game. Somebody there was playing the White Queen, I think. Yeah. Was playing a custom White Queen encounter, which was cool. She had a way to have minions attack different things through like through like her psionic abilities. So that was cool. And then we played Gore the God Butcher, and he wrecked us. It was so brutal. Um, yeah, he was mean. He had a really cool mechanic. My favorite mechanic about Gore the God Butcher was he had these minions that were not too bad, but if 3 of them were in play, you discarded all 3 of them and summoned like Villain 2.0. And then when you defeated him, you set him aside. And then if those minions like stayed out, they could summon him again. And that was, I thought, a really cool way to like bring in like more powerful minions, like via means that it's like you can leave these like little like guys, they're like 0-1s out, but they're gonna summon, they're like cultists, they're gonna summon this like huge like this like big eagle thing. And that, I thought that was really cool. And then there's like a doomsday counter, where like every round you're adding like time counters, and if you reach, I think it was 12 per player, you just lose the game, which was kind of cool. The God Bomb, that's what it was. The God Bomb. That was tough. We lost that one. We lost that one. Yeah, Robert, get together with Villain Theory and make one in England. Do one in England. That'd be fun. You got to try out Spots by the Champions. That's cool. How was that? We played Gore on Standard and thought it was pretty chill. We played him on Standard as well. I don't know why we struggled so much. The bird minion thing was very cool. The bird minion thing was really cool. We went back to the hotel because I think I'm gonna just keep calling it Hurrah. Closed at I think 6 on Sunday. I drove home yesterday. There were a lot of people who left on Sunday, but there was a group of us who stuck around and played until the wee hours of Monday morning, Sunday evening. We went back. We played Carnage, and then we did a 5-player Mojo game, which was tiring. It was good stuff. I played with everyone yeah, the 5-player Mojo game was exhausting. Spot was like a twist on Spiral. Oh, cool. Okay. Gore is drastically different in Expert. He's fairly balanced in Standard. Nice. That's cool. Oh yeah, he had another interesting mechanic where he had 3 main schemes, but you only revealed the 3rd one when he flipped into stage 3. So you only ever saw the 3rd main scheme if you were playing Expert. And I thought that was a really cool way to add in different modular complexities to Expert versus Standard. When will the West Coast get a Marvel Champions Con? When you start one. Got him. But yeah, I think like I really enjoy the cons.